You're sitting in the crowd, excited that your icon is on the court battling it out with an opponent that seems to be having the upper hand. But immediately after the match, your hero announces his retirement, just at the age of 26. It's mixed feelings for everyone. Why is Borg retiring so early? Amidst all these, you can only imagine how good he has been over the years. For that, let's look at his style of play. With a playing style that combined power with focus, Borg possessed two particularly outstanding traits. The first was his frame of mind and mentality. He was the first player to demonstrate an unwavering focus on the court. Nothing could distract him, which was why he was given the nickname Iceborg. On the court, he was so cold. He was unbeatable, and his rivals frequently felt as though they were playing against a brick wall. His second standout characteristic was his technique. He did not play in a conventional playing style. Instead, he produced unrivaled topspin with his two-handed backhand and possessed a powerful forehand. Borg's two-handed backhand and forehand with powerful topspin quickly gained popularity, and everybody tried to imitate the style, from amateur players to touring professionals. He employed an awkward, Western-style grip on both sides that produced powerful topspin while being unnatural. Although he frequently released his left hand when at the net, the grip hampered his volleying ability but rendered his baseline game explosive. His backhand resembled a hockey slapshot, and his topspin groundstroke game was strong and forceful. A Borg-struck ball would leap off the court like it was on fire and searching for water. His fitness complemented his consistent ground strokes. Both of these factors contributed to his dominance at the French Open. On the court, he would outpace any player in the world, thanks to his exceptional fitness and speed. He also excelled in lengthy rallies, all due to his speed and endurance. While other professionals experimented with topspin play, Borg refined it into a form of art with each shot. No one strung their rackets as tightly as he did. When they were tuned to his exacting standards, they produced a distinct musical ping. Borg also had a good serve and efficient volleys, which helped him to succeed on the lawns of Wimbledon. However, his greatest strength was probably his will to fight. He had an incredible record in 5-set matches and was a notoriously difficult opponent to put away. Talking about his records, he did set some incredible records in his dominant years. Let's look at that. Winning the French Open and Wimbledon back-to-back in the same year is among the most challenging tennis goals to accomplish. On the one hand, there are the slow-moving, high-bouncing clay courts of Paris, and Wimbledon's fast-paced lawns are on the other. The crucial point is that athletes must change surfaces so quickly that there is little time to prepare. Because Wimbledon used to start on the 4th Monday of June in the earlier days, it was more challenging back then. Now, to prepare for the championship, players will have one extra week. Borg stands out because in 1978, 79, and 80, he went one step further and became the only player to win the Channel Slam 3 times. He also had exceptional physical strength in addition to having a technically solid game and a remarkable level of mental tenacity. The Swedish Tennis Federation had such high regard for him that in 1972, when he was just 15 years old, they selected him to compete in the Davis Cup. He created history by winning a Davis Cup singles rubber at the youngest age ever. Borg was a terror for every opponent, thanks to his strong baseline game and unwavering strength. In fact, he also held the all-time record for bageling his opponents the greatest number of times. To say the least, his 5-set record was outstanding. He won 24 of the 27 5-set matches he played in throughout his career for an 88.9% win rate. He won 19 straight points on service in the 5th set of the 1980 Wimbledon final against John McEnroe, another Open-era record. Borg's talents stem from his ability to remain calm and crush his opponents with strong ground strokes, unaffected by what was going on around him. He brought so much finesse and class to the game. Throughout his career, he defeated most of his contemporaries, including Jimmy Connors, Ilia Nastase, and Ivan Lendl. He has a 7-7 record against his famous adversary, John McEnroe. He won 3 Grand Slam titles without dropping a single set at the 1976 Wimbledon Championships, the 1978 French Open, and the 1980 French Open. Borg won the 1978 French Open after losing only 32 games in total, a record that appears unlikely to be broken. The 70s, the era of Borg's domination. From the first minute to the last minute, I want to win every single point, Borg once revealed. When I am playing, I am completely serious. And he went on to take that serious approach to new heights at Wimbledon, where he won 5 titles from 1976 to 80. Borg's initial trip to the surface wasn't natural for him in 1973, but he rapidly acclimated. His first Wimbledon title in 1976 was quite spectacular, with a 6-4, 6-2, 9-7 win over Ilia Nastase. who later assessed Borg's game by saying, "We're playing tennis and he's playing something else." He repeated his Wimbledon success despite being given a far tougher challenge. In a semi-final match, he overcame his close buddy Vitas Gerulaitis in 5 sets, and for the third time in the competition, Borg was forced to play 5 sets in the 1977 championship match, this time by Connors. His victory catapulted him to the top spot in the ATP points standings, although for only 1 week in August. He won the French Open in 1978, defeating Vilas in the final without dropping a set in the event. Borg then defeated Connors again in the 1978 Wimbledon final in straight sets. However, he fell in straight sets to Connors in the 1978 US Open. In 1979, he defeated the powerful serving Roscoe Tanner, and in an epic match in 1980, he defeated McEnroe, who was taking part in his maiden Wimbledon final. In his brief career, Borg established so many records that his stats are still used to evaluate the best athletes. The fact that he didn't play for longer is seen as tennis's biggest loss because he was a true revolutionary in every sense of the term. Borg's name stands out among half a dozen of the best tennis records ever set. Between 1976 and 1980, Borg won all 5 Wimbledon titles, becoming the first player in the Open era to win consecutive Wimbledon championships, a feat later repeated by Roger Federer in 2007. His 5 titles at Wimbledon are the 4th highest in history behind Roger Federer with 8 titles, Novak with 7, and Pete Sampras with 7. He is the only first-time Wimbledon champion to win it without dropping a single set. He accomplished this amazing accomplishment in 1976. Borg played 55 matches on the hallowed courts of Wimbledon in his career, winning 51 of them and amassing an all-time high win rate of 92.73%. That's an incredible record. Nobody has matched his record of 41 consecutive Wimbledon victories. He was the youngest player in history to win 11 Grand Slams. Just a day after his 25th birthday, Borg won his 11th and final Grand Slam at the French Open in 1981. He is the first player in open-era tennis to have 2 victory streaks of at least 40 matches. He accomplished this twice, first with a 49-match winning streak in 1978 and then with a 48-match winning streak from 1979 to 1980. In his 10-year career, he participated in 157 Grand Slam matches, winning 141 of them and losing only 14 of them. Wow! His win percentage of 89.81% is the greatest among all male and female tennis players throughout all eras. He won 6 French Open titles, second only to Rafael Nadal in history, and 4 of them consecutively. He was also only defeated at Roland Garros twice in his career. You could have called Borg the king of clay in his own era. Prior to Borg, tennis had never really been cool. Tennis was polarized in the 1970s by Borg. He was the definition of cool. He was dubbed the IceMan for his icy demeanor on the court and never, ever let his opponent know what was brewing inside of him. Hysteria was sparked by everything about him, including the way he entered the court, his long hair that reached his shoulders, the headbands he always wore, and his Donne racket, which had a larger leather handle to suit his two-handed backhand. He was tennis's main attraction. You'd have to look far and wide in sporting history to find an athlete who ascended to dizzying heights like Borg, who startled and shocked the tennis world by quitting at the age of 26. Even in his brief career, he left a significant mark on tennis history. Borg dominated Wimbledon like no other player since Willie Renshaw, who won 6 consecutive championships from 1881 to 1886, winning 5 consecutive titles from 1976 to 1980. He will be remembered as the father of modern baseline tennis, having invented the topspin style and two-handed backhand that is so popular today. He was both a trailblazer and a conservative, tailoring his game to Wimbledon for its grandeur, while preserving his distinct style for the more relaxed surroundings of Roland Garros. Borg built a historic rivalry with John McEnroe, and their 1980 Wimbledon final is largely regarded as one of the 2 greatest matches of all time. However, McEnroe may have been the one who sent Borg into early retirement. His victory against Borg in the 1981 US Open was the final straw for a man who had suffered from burnout and weariness from a young age, but one that ended far too quickly. Just how good was Bjorn Borg? Let us know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, watch this one about his family.